Welcome to I Think It's All Sober, wedding planner, extraordinaire and coordinator, Georgie Mitchell.
Hello. Thank you for having me. I'm a weird guest for you guys, aren't I?
Yeah.
I like it.
This is a weird one, but a good one.
I feel like it's not talked about enough, and that's the mission now, isn't it?
Well, it's so interesting because we sort of every season we're trying to push ourselves to kind of talk about things that maybe like even our guests are interested in, or that kind of maybe outside the remit of other than just like recovery. And the one thing that comes up again and again and again, whether that's on our Patreon, on our Instagram, people wanting advice, is either how the fuck do I go to a wedding sober, or I'm sober, how do we have a wedding that encompasses sobriety? And obviously you guys know each other, so we thought, well, how better to kind of kick off this than
you don't say that so creepily.
You guys know
you know each other, don't you?
So yeah, you were heavily involved and responsible for the smooth running of my wedding.
Thank you very much.
Which was
I was there. I can validate.
Yeah.
It was a fantastic wedding.
It was, and I not just saying this because I'm sat here with you, but it was a very good wedding. I don't imagine you had much to do with that, but it was a very good wedding.
How dare you? I absolutely.
Which bit did you plan?
I saw the music.
Oh, fine. Okay. Music was good.
Music guy sorts the music.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on, that's good. And I had a say in the food.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was as far as it went, let's be honest.
It was a good wedding. But it was interesting for me because I don't think I'd done a wedding where the groom was sober before. So it was a new one for me to be like, oh, okay. How does that change what I'm doing? Do I need to change anything? But it's, if anything, me coming on here is actually really helpful for me as well, because I would like to know from you guys stuff of like how people are meant to make weddings approachable for you guys. Do you know what I mean? I think that's the bit that isn't talked about, and I cannot do another wedding where the soft drink option is orange juice.
Oh yeah, it's fascinating actually, because sometimes I've now had to put myself in the position where I'm like, it's my decision, so I never go to any wedding with any expectancy.
Yeah.
However, it is just sometimes there's just that little bit of thought where someone will come up to you and be like, oh, there's options over here, or we've got these different cocktails. And I don't want someone to spend a fucking fortune, but it's just
cheaper,
so nice
surely.
sometimes where actually, well, yeah. But like when someone's made that tiny bit of effort, even if like the little favour is like a fruit juice, you still feel like you're joining in. And it's just that little bit of effort that, look, again, like there's no ego from my perspective. I'm sure not yours either. But like if someone does clock it and think about it, like it is a really lovely thing.
It's difficult because I very much, like I would say I've got a very good relationship with alcohol. I drink, but not a lot.
Get out.
Sorry, I know. I was literally thinking, how do I tell them this before I go here?
How do I break this to
my
you?
God.
She's a fraud.
I can go even deep. My husband was a mixologist for many years. Like our whole start of our relationship was alcohol, but I've never been, like I could never drink again. It wouldn't really, I drink for, I reckon I drink 3 times every 6 months, 6 times a year. That's an easier way of saying that.
There you go.
Like it's not a lot. And I reckon I've been like properly drunk 5 times. So like to me, I don't understand it as like, oh, we'll just drink a few. Like but I did listen to your episode that was about like doing is one and stuff like that. So I've learned. But it's interesting for me because I would say I've got a good relationship with alcohol, but I've got a bad relationship in terms of when I look at other people and weddings and be like, well, surely drink is the most important thing at a wedding. And then it makes me then be like, oh shit, actually, maybe it's not.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? Because I remember going into my wedding, it was a big thing because at the time, I think, weirdly, we were talking about this the other day, that we're both a lot less reliant now on like zero alcohol options. Yeah. As time's gone on, so I'm now 3.5 years. Jamie's over 3.
3.2 months.
There you go. And I've just naturally noticed that over probably the last year, it's not as essential for me as it once was.
So is the normal path of it, stop drinking, go for alternatives to all the drinks, and then you just slowly go?
I think it depends. Like we've got some people we know that have been on the podcast that are in like, genuine recovery and have been through a program, and to them like 0% alcohol is just completely off the cards. Yeah. But I think on the most part, and I don't want to speak for everyone listening, but I think if you are sort of changing a relationship with alcohol in a positive light and you're not coming from a place of like recovery or addiction, I think the zeros are such a handy tool.
Yeah, because that's I think what most people would think of. If I've got some people coming to my wedding that are sober, we'll just do 0 beer. Yeah. But I don't think they'd even think that, oh, actually that might not be an option that people want. And that's when then they just go, it's orange juice.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because for my wedding, I remember thinking like, and I had quite a lot of people there that didn't drink.
Yeah.
It says a lot about your friendship circle.
Yeah. Forced sobriety for most people. But yeah, probably, you know, I would say, well, not loads, but 10 to 15% of like my friendship group that were there weren't drinking. So it was obviously something that I had to think of and wanted to cater for.
Yeah.
And, you know, I didn't want it to just be like you say, like orange juice or, you know, an option. So I made sure that there was like, you know, a few different options available, which was great. And I think at the time it was really important for me to make sure that I had like enough Lucky Saints there, because I was like, it's a long day, isn't it? And I think traditionally, I mean, I guess we'll come on to this as well, but you know, at every other wedding I've been to, it's just like full send. Like
100, and for me planning, there are pinpoints of the day which are alcohol pinpoints. It's the reception drinks, the toast drinks, the wine on the tip. Like the day is kind of laid out with drinks in mind, and it's a really difficult. Like I don't know how many weddings you guys have been to where the people getting married weren't sober. Like I don't know if you've ever been to your wife's weddings where they're not even thinking about you. It's not like your close people that have thought about you guys ahead of time. Are they worse than the ones where you were in charge of it, where you're like, it's fine, I can just make sure that there's loads of non-alcoholic options?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, because actually one of my really close mates, Alex and Ellen, got married, and it was before our wedding, but and I think this is like really nice, and I think it's just that your friends were very conscious of me not drinking, and had like stocked the bar with like an insane amount of like zeros. And their wedding was very, very alcohol focused, as in like they're really into their food and drink.
Yeah.
And they'd spent an absolute fortune on like the Chateauneuf de Pape and like all of this like champagne, and you know, had spent like an insane amount on it. But I like the fact that they were very much thinking of the non-drinkers as well.
Yeah.
And that made it a part of it. But yeah, it's now, having done a lot of sober weddings, you can spectate and you do realise how much of the day is like centred around it.
Yeah, fueled by it. Like, and is it going to be fun? Well, it depends if there's a free bar. If there's a free bar, it will be a fun wedding. Like that's how it's kind of, especially in the wedding industry, like from the professional side of it. If people go, yeah, we're doing a free bar, wrongly in my head, I'm like, cool, sweet. That means it's all then, everyone's already kind of sorted themselves out because they don't have to pay for drinks. So the vibe is already more chilled, more funny, I guess, because everyone's getting, but you do, as you then get through the night, I'm then watching people going, you look like an idiot. You're absolutely...
Tie around the head.
Yeah, and
shirt
like...
open.
It's a weird, because I've heard you guys talk about like just forgetting stuff. You forget the whole night. And then I'm like, why would we as a couple want to encourage everyone getting so drunk that they forget the wedding that we've paid a fortune for them to come and see it?
It's fascinating. Just before I guess we dive into... I guess even more on this, I'd love to hear a little bit about kind of how you got into it, and then also when you are thinking about planning weddings, where alcohol's kind of what's the first kind of entry point of alcohol into your discussions about wedding planning?
I've been in weddings forever. I think I reckon from 14 I was waitressing at weddings.
Wow.
Then what was I doing? Worked at venues, worked for catering companies, had a little break where I had my daughter, and then I was like, oh, I think I love kids, and worked at a nursery, and then I was like, oh, I fucking hate kids. I like my own kids.
They can't get
the
drunk
rest
for
of you,
free.
the rest of you are little shits. Went back into weddings, started my business in 2020, just before the global pandemic. That was great.
Nice.
No weddings then. And then have been doing it. And I do a lot on like TikTok. We do a podcast. It's very much... I try and give people as much information about weddings as possible so that some of them book me, which is great, but then some people are taking the advice from it and then using that to make their weddings, I say better, because I think the tips I'm giving are pretty good. But the alcohol side of it, again, I've always been heavy biased on alcohol being an important factor of a wedding, but I think maybe as more people are drinking less, and I think even younger people are drinking less and things like that, there has to be... It's definitely coming onto my radar of like, okay, we now need to, and it's not just pregnant women anymore. Before it was like, oh, we need some non-alcoholic options for the pregnant people.
That's so true.
But actually it's not anymore. And I get a lot of weddings now where people, exactly like you said about the little favours, everyone's doing little favours of, I don't know, Jaeger, whatever they're doing. And they'll put then on their highlighted non-alcoholic. And it's almost like the wave. Remember when everybody started becoming vegan and vegetarian? Yeah. And I'm vegetarian, so I get the same thing at weddings and being like, oh, sorry, it's slightly more difficult that I'm but you invite me.
There's one option and it's like a vegan Wellington.
It's great. It's always it's always risotto.
Risotto. I went to a wedding the other week, and it was funny for my friend's vegan, and the food was lovely, but the starter was like tomatoes with like a vegan kind of bruschetta, and then the main was like gnocchi with vegan bruschetta and tomatoes. So it's like they can't think of
which is exactly I have vegetables. Here's just the vegetables we know are these.
Do you like aubergines? Like, not again, please.
No, honestly, if somebody gives me another cauliflower, I'm just gonna cry because it's not fun. But yeah, that kind of wave of vegetarian and vegan, and everyone suddenly think about that. I feel like the new wave is now, okay, there are actually people that don't drink, but how do you make it exciting? Like, a lot of it is, can we still make it look nice rather than it feeling like a massive afterthought? And I think that's the bit that people are trying to, and definitely bringing to me now, to be like, we've got 5 people that aren't drinking. We don't want to just give them a kilner of water and just sort yourselves out.
Of course. So how many weddings do you think you've done now?
As my business, I think we're into 400 in the last 5 years. Yeah.
So, and I was the only sober groom that you were or the first?
Definitely the first.
No
I reckon
way.
there's that was like proper sober groom. I'm not drinking anything, because you get some that like we get a lot of brides that will say, I don't want to drink anything until the evening.
Yeah.
So then they want the no secco. Then they want something else, elderflower for the toast, and then they'll start drinking after the first dance. So but that's a bit different to me, because if they accidentally get served a prosecco, it's not the end of the world, and they usually start drinking something anyway. But yeah, you were my first sober group. I remember being to the venue, because they bring you out a tray after your thing, and I was like, "Is that non-alcoholic?" And they were like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay, it's on my list to check."
Good, because this will start a chain of events that cannot be undone.
Yeah.
Why is the tie around his head?
Undo his marriage
before it's even happened. So that's really interesting. But you have noticed, aside from that, then that there has been a change, and there's been more sober people, like you said, not pregnant people, but normal.
Normal people not drinking alcohol.
Yeah. So, that's interesting, because I think like we've certainly noticed in the last. I mean, when we first started the pod, which was June, first episode was June 23. I think even then it was a bit more like. I think it was like at the start of the sort of wave of it, really.
Yeah.
And now it seems a lot more normal.
I think. And again, I've done my homework on you guys of listening about like the alcoholic word of like people being like, oh, he's sober, like means they're alcoholic. Like, can we even have any drink at the wedding? When it's not necessarily like that anymore. Some people are just choosing to not drink alcohol. They're not going to be triggered by the fact that there's a bottle of wine on the table. It's just they would like to have options that aren't that.
Yeah.
Instead of just like the jug of water. Like, it kills me, and I'm definitely pushing my couples to look at it more and even asking them, because I think some of them don't think about it. But to me, if you're inviting guests, surely you know every guest. Surely you want every single person to leave and be like, oh, cool wedding. That was fun.
Yeah, you're so right. And I think I understand the notion that weddings are like super expensive. And as I say previously, there's no ego on it. But sometimes you go and sit down and there's like 5 bottles of wine on the table. And then you're like, oh, is there anything non-alcoholic? And it's like, oh, there's a jug of water. Yeah. And then you're like, oh, well, I'm going to have to go to the bar. And again, I don't mind spending my own money. Yeah. Correct, the bar's shut. So I'm like walking around this hotel trying to find like some form of Diet Coke or just something with some flavour. And it's right, I don't expect like 0% wine on the table, that's fine. But you're right, just that little bit of thought.
But this is why can't we do 0% wine on the table? Like, I think that's the bit where people are like, I agree, you're saying I'm not expecting anything, but actually we should be doing it.
Yeah.
You absolutely. If you're inviting that person to come to your wedding, it means you like them, or at least your partner likes them. Somebody likes them for you to be going. But why is it not easier? And I think venues aren't doing enough to make sure that people are well looked after in terms of being able to go, yeah, here's the non-alcoholic wine, or just making a bit more effort in terms of what's available, because you have to jump through hoops to get anything. And things like we say about the orange juice, every venue is like, yeah, we've got an orange juice option. And people are like, oh, I don't want orange juice. I want to do X, Y, Z. And they're like, yeah, we don't really do that. I'm like, what?
And is that like a supplier thing, or is it them just being lazy?
It's just not normal.
Right.
I'm putting it in, I don't even know what these are called. I use these all the time. Air quotes.
I say quote unquote.
Oh, quote. Because it's not their norm, and because they don't normally get asked about having non-alcoholic drinks, it's just their set. They're normally like chain hotels that are just so used to doing it how they're doing it. But actually, until people start questioning it and being like, actually, well, no, we've got 15% of our guests that don't drink. And actually, it's not always just people that are sober. Some people are driving. And it's so difficult. I feel like at weddings, it's just the alcohol is so pushed on you that it feels like you're not going to have a good time here unless you're absolutely smashed.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know, how do we change the... Because I think we had one guest who's sober at our wedding, and I remember literally being like, oh my God, how will they have fun? Like, what do we do to make sure that they still have fun? Will they still dance? Like, do you guys dance at weddings? Do you have to be drunk to dance?
I've never danced.
He's never danced in his life.
Fine,
I was at a
right.
wedding
So
the
yours
other
is
day.
not alcohol related dance.
I was at a wedding the other day, and I was like getting ready to leave. I was like, I had like a 9:30 rule because I had to drive like 3 hours. And then I keep saying "Living on a Prayer," Bon Jovi. It's not. What's the Madonna song? Like a Prayer.
Like
came
a Prayer.
on, and I was like, I'm going for it. Everyone's hammered on the dance floor, and I was just living the dream. And it's funny, I ended up staying for like 45 minutes more, just dancing like an idiot. And it's so funny, I got in the car and I was like, people must think I'm mental, because the people that don't know me at that wedding are like, that guy doesn't drink.
Yeah.
And they must just look at that guy being like, he has some serious mental health issues. Just me, just like absolutely cutting shapes to Madonna.
How do we tell them there's no music playing? It's just in his head.
Well, I think the difficult bit, right, and if we're getting into like the granular bit of the wedding, I think the difficult bit for guests is after the ceremony, right? After ceremony, before wedding breakfast.
Yeah.
Where there's that like, what is it, like 2 hours?
Infinite time.
Yeah, it is a good 2 hours, yeah.
2 hours, where in old money, that was where the full send would begin. It would be like, who's coming around with buckets of beer and drink?
When is it acceptable to do cocaine before the meal?
Well,
And will I be pushing my food around the plate
literally.
and going...
Well, I'm super naive with drugs. I've never really been exposed to drugs. I'm not in those circles. Never done it. Never really. I know. It's never really been in my. I've never seen. I was very lucky in my childhood. I was in a little bubble, and then when I left, I was like, "What do you mean people do drugs? Like, what are you talking about?" And my husband works with me at a few weddings. Sometimes he works on the bar, and he will always be like, "Oh, they're all doing coke," and I'm like, "What?" He's like, "They're all coked up," and I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
His jaw is in Oslo.
Literally, I didn't. Honestly, the first like maybe 2 years where I started noticing it, I was like, shit, I never noticed it. I guess I wasn't looking; it was not my radar. But I now look at it, and I'm like, why on earth would people do coke at a wedding? But then in my head, I'm like, but you need loads of alcohol. But then what's the difference in the two extremes of like, what drug are we doing at this wedding? Will it be alcohol? We'll plaster you with loads of alcohol. I did a wedding yesterday where they had cigars everywhere. But then coke is like, oh, no. Yeah. I'm like, oh, no, you don't want coke at a wedding. And there's venues that will spray the surfaces with stuff so that if people put coke on the surfaces, it just...
No way.
So they're all clued up with that.
That's mad.
But yeah, I've done a few where coke has then been like in the speeches, and I'm always like, ugh. He's like,
people always start speeches of like, I prepared a few lines, but
yeah,
I'm sure
and
some of
everyone's
you
like,
have snorted them anyway.
And I'm, but then it's,
come on.
why is that not allowed? But then everyone's like, raise a glass.
Yeah.
Cheers, everyone, to getting smashed
You're
tonight.
right though, like, and I guess with the alcohol, it's so ingrained. I guess weddings and funerals, but more so weddings, to just get like absolutely mortal.
Yeah.
Not the kind of drunk you get in a pub, not the kind of drunk you get at a bar. Like absolutely throwing up on yourself, crying in the corner.
And you'll be the funny one that makes the stories of like, oh, he was the last one on the dance floor, throwing up in the corner, ha ha ha.
Why do you think that is?
I think the main reason is because you get groups of people that don't know each other. So a wedding is a couple and then all of their random groups of people that they're trying to bring together to be like, everybody get on, have a really nice time, be like, we really want you all to be together. And then those people don't know each other and they're not from the same groups. And it happens quite a lot on hen do's and stag do's as well, where they're trying to make people be friends or trying to bring different walks of life together.
Yeah, like breaking the ice.
Yeah, and then the only way to do it is to be like, shots? Like, let's play drinking games so that we all know each other. And a lot of the drinking games are where it's like Ring of Fire, where you then have those jokes that last throughout the whole into the wedding as well then, because everyone's got to know each other. But I think that's why, like you were saying, the drinks reception is just plaster them with drink so that then people start to talk to each other. So and when they sit on the table, they might all get... Actually, does it matter if they just stay in their little groups of people they know? I do.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because like, we're not anti-drink on the podcast. We're like just pro people changing their relationship with alcohol.
Yeah.
And we were talking about this the other day in music. Like, you have a certain, having drunk and done various stuff over the years definitely furthered my career in certain aspects. When you meet certain people and you have a sense of like camaraderie, even if you don't fucking remember what went on or what went down.
Yeah, next time you see me, like, hey!
It's
and there's like one joke that's been remembered throughout the whole thing, and it does.
It's one of those things, and it's the same like on my stag. Again, there were like 21 mates that came out to Ibiza, and I was like, cool, I've got a show. that makes it way easier because I'm technically working.
Yeah.
And I can sort everyone tables and make sure that everyone who's drinking, they can just have all the booze they want. It's free. They don't have to pay IB for prices. But I think out of the 21, I think there were like 6 or 7 like that weren't drinking, which was great. And we had such a good time from it. You know, it didn't really matter. But then you do have those moments where people have, you know, a certain moment that might have happened, a funny drunk moment from like a stag do or a hen do, or different people getting to know each other. And obviously we now know the science of alcohol, of like alcohol lowering people's inhibitions. And, you know, the whole Dutch courage thing is real. It's like the same drug, and we've talked about it so much, that the same chemical that Valium releases when you take it, which relaxes you and enables you to have a conversation. So if we're getting like really deep into it, it's like, well, yeah, you are putting random people onto a table together, expecting them to get on. Yeah. And, you know, it's you can't just put all the sober people together.
You're in the back corner.
Yeah. What went wrong in your life?
I mean, maybe you could. But like,
what point does your dad leave?
So yeah, I mean, you can. It is a bit of a quandary, and it's like they're some of the kind of moments that I miss.
Yeah.
Can
you recreate those without?
Oh, 100%.
Alcohol?
Like it's just different.
Yeah.
And
because would you have done a stag do if none of your mates were sober?
Yeah, I still would have done it.
Yeah.
And like I'm going on one tomorrow. There's 9 of us going, and I'm the only one that's not drinking, which is quite unusual actually.
Okay.
But I'm fine with it now, and everyone knows that I can just like be like the voice of reason at 2 a.m.
Yeah, we're finished now,
everyone
guys.
needs to like, you know, rein it in. But it's interesting, isn't it? Because like, yeah, everything's just different now, and you have a different sort of fun and a different motive, and quite often it does mean tapping out a little bit earlier. Even at like my wedding, I think it got to like 12:30, and I said to Sarah, I was like, I am physically done.
Yeah.
Like, should we just backdoor it? Which we did.
Did you? Nice.
And you know, but then also the consequences of drinking are like seen throughout the day at a wedding. So I can only speak from mine, but like, you know, one of my groomsmen got choked out by another one because he was trying to get to the bar during the ceremony because he full sent it the night before.
Wow.
One of Sarah's friends, who I really don't mind when she's sober, was completely like out of order throughout the day.
Yeah.
And like, you know, pissed me off, upset people, upset some of my mates. And, you know, and all of these things wouldn't have happened if they weren't drinking. And I mean, you must have seen it over the years. Like
all of the problems that happen are drink related.
I was going to ask, 100%. What's the worst, if you can say? Yeah,
just like,
the worst
I mean, it's just
let's
fights.
spill the beans.
Yeah, it's fighting. I mean, the worst one I've seen in terms of it just feeling gross was people, very nice venue, beautiful wedding. They're doing speeches, and I can hear all this like commotion on another table, and I'm trying to listen to them, but also it's my job to go over if it's all kicking off, to be like,
trying to diffuse
go away, please. The table in front are turning around. Basically, this table are all talking during their speeches. Everyone's trying to listen. If there's any bit that you need to be respectful of a ceremony, it's during the speeches. Just shut up and listen for 10 minutes. Yeah. They're moaning. The table in front of them are the groomsmen, so they're turning around and being like, can you be quiet? We're trying to listen to speeches. End of the speeches, they're going, don't fucking tell us to be quiet. But it's like getting louder and louder and louder. So I'm trying to go over, and it's like the dad is arguing with a schoolmate, and it's just properly kicking off in the middle of the wedding breakfast now. It's all quiet because everyone's watching.
Oh my God.
I'm in the middle trying to be like, can we go outside, guys? Like, can we not do this in here? And they're just properly kicking off each other. And it's just like, it was purely alcohol fueled. And the thing is, if you want to do that, then maybe go out. Maybe if you really don't want to sit and listen to speeches. But to me, if you want all the free alcohol that they're giving you, maybe you get it for listening to the speeches.
Show some goddamn respect.
I think there's a massive lack of respect when people drink. That's when their like respect tolerance goes out the window. Same as there was a random guy sat on a table who was just talking all the way through speeches, and I had to go and stand by him at one point to be like, stop talking, I'm going to stand here now. I lied that the videographer was recording it and they could hear him laughing. They couldn't, but he was just like afterwards, like, oh, I'm so sorry, but I buy you a drink, let's have a dance. And I'm like, please, like, please go away from me. You're disgusting. Yeah, it was just, but it's all that, and it's all like, I don't know, people get drunk and then they go up to their bedrooms and do whatever, and then they're missing the first dance, and then the couple are really annoyed that the maid of honour's missed the first dance because she's doing whatever with the best man in the thing, and it's all from alcohol.
But this is my point. Like, what this doesn't happen at any other thing other than a wedding. People either get horny or livid or fucked up.
Shall I tell you what it all comes from?
Why?
Is jealousy.
Right.
It's always a jealousy thing. The friend that was probably messing around being an idiot is probably jealous of the fact that her friend's getting married. And it's either not a wedding that she's having, she's not close to having a wedding, or she's not happy in a relationship. Like, it's from me watching on the outside, that's what I normally see. It's quite often, we talk about, I mean, men typically drink a lot more at the weddings, but the girls seem to go silly and just act up a bit. And it's a weird thing to watch. Like, girls just, it's their insecurity comes out as soon as they drink.
It's interesting, actually, because we talk about sobriety as a mirror to other people's drinking, and I imagine a wedding is a mirror to other people's love lives or 100%. Just life, right?
Yeah, you can see, like, my key moment of when I know what a wedding's going to be like is when I walk into the bridal suite and it's all the girls getting ready, because you know then what group of girls that they've got with them.
Like,
they're either like, oh, are you really wearing that? Are you like just little bitches? Or they're all like just, oh, you look gorgeous. Like, they're all amazing. And then you go over to the boys, and the boys are the total opposite. And the ones that are meaner to the groom are the closer relationships versus the ones that are like, all right, mate, shall we get ready? And I'm like, you don't even know each other.
It's tough with weddings though, isn't it? Because often there's like such a fabricated need to be nice to people as well.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I can't fucking stand in sobriety, is like fakeness. It was like, oh my God, I've heard so much about you. I'm like, yeah, I bet you have not. And you don't want it.
You Googled me for 5 seconds.
So where do you think like the alcohol tradition with weddings is like, why do you think it's so deep rooted? Because has it always been this way, as like through history and time? I mean, you kind of, whenever you kind of look back at, even in like sort of medieval times and like that, the king, it used to be still a big feast and everyone drunk.
It's definitely all a show of wealth, is the alcohol part. And do you know what? It absolutely still is. The more expensive the wedding, the more free drink you're getting. The cheaper the wedding, the less alcohol you're getting. So actually it is still a class thing of like, we are having champagne and oysters versus the ones that do a Bucks Fizz and there's no canapes. Like, peasants. Yeah. I go to those and I'm like, what is this?
What is this?
Buy myself a drink.
What do you expect me to do?
But that's where I then think that is then people are trying to make sure everyone's having a nice time, but it is definitely a show off thing. It's definitely look, we can afford to give you all a drink. And there's probably like, if I look at a wedding, there's pre-ceremony drinks, there's post-ceremony drinks reception, and the more drinks you can give in that, the better, the more you're looking after guests. You've then got toast drinks for speeches, you've then got wines on the table, you've then got a cocktail hour, and then you might have even free bar shots go around. Like, there are so many places you can put alcohol, and actually, when people judge weddings, they do judge it based on how much booze they got, which is ridiculous, really. It's not on the, they did such beautiful flowers. Like, nobody cares.
So right. And I've noticed recently, actually, like, whether it's destination weddings or like weekend weddings are becoming more popular. And I've been invited to a few recently, which is like a Thursday through to a Monday, and there's a pre-party, and then there's the wedding, and then there's another party, and you're just like, all of it is just full send.
Yeah. I mean, that's what happened at mine, is that we did the night before. And hence why one of the groomsmen full sent it on Friday
I remember
night.
turning up and he was slumped against a tree, and I was like, it's fucking 11 a.m.
But this is it. But then we all like, I get there at that time and I'm laughing like, ha ha ha, what an idiot. But actually, really, what we should be going, what is happening? Like, why on earth? What? But there's just not that. We're not at that point yet where people are looking and being like, that's weird. We're just like, ha ha, that's a cool story.
Yeah, so true.
So, do you anticipate anytime soon there being someone that comes to you saying, I want a fully sober wedding or an alcohol-light wedding?
Are you doing it?
Me?
Didn't we talk about this at Reading?
No, so my partner doesn't drink either, and I don't want to give anything away, but if we were to get married at some point in the next few years...
Oh my God, are you going to get married in the next few years?
Decided that we would have no alcohol at the wedding. And not because we don't want alcohol at the wedding. We want everyone to enjoy it how we'd want them to enjoy it, and we would placebo them. So we wouldn't tell them it's an non-alcohol wedding. So we would still serve wines on the table, and we would still serve booze at the bar, but we wouldn't tell anyone it wasn't alcohol.
You wouldn't say
this
that again.
This is the reverse spike.
I would reverse spike people.
Are you allowed to reverse spike people?
I don't know. Well, it's just, I guess so.
I mean,
do you know what I mean? It would be a small wedding, say, for example.
Give us the fake. I'll tell you what. Give me the fake thing, and I'll tell you as a planner what I would actually say.
Okay, so like we're thinking like Southwest Portugal,
beautiful
on the beach, and then a little, kind of reception up somewhere on the hills in a nice place, and you have a nice little sit down meal, and then a party, and everything would just be 0% alcohol that we would bring in from various people.
And you just wouldn't.
And you pay a corkage.
Ready and you
pay a corkage.
Yeah.
And you would, if someone went to the bar and wanted a lager, they would still get a lager. So you bring it in on draft.
A non-alcoholic lager.
Non-alcoholic lager.
And just not say. So if they said, "Can I have a lager?"
They just get a lager.
Can you do that?
Can you not?
I don't know. What if it was the other way around?
I was thinking you could just make it a non-alcoholic wedding, but give them one really shitty alcoholic option.
I think people would, but it wouldn't be fascinating.
Here's a warm beer if you would like
Prosecco,
it. Yeah.
I semi-joke. I'm not sure we would do it, but I think it would be such an interesting experiment to placebo people at a wedding.
I would love to see.
Like you were just saying, people have that jealousy thing, or they get off their nut because that's their way of connecting and being comfortable. But we did an experiment down in Cornwall. Everyone knew it was 0% alcohol, but we did like a massive dinner party and everything was 0% and no one knew each other in the first half hour. Was super awkward. But then by the end, it was raucous and crazy and everyone was laughing and belly laughing like you would having drunk 3 bottles of wine.
That was really interesting, wasn't it?
So my logic is like a wedding would be the same, no?
Did you do anything that encouraged people to talk to each other? Because I always find that at networking, like like I said, I don't really drink much, but if I go to networking, pass me a glass of Prosecco because this is like my... And I don't mind talking to people. Like, I'm quite a confident person, but those situations feel like the worst. That's as bad as it gets,
well,
surely.
It was interesting because like everyone there knew of each other because it was basically guests that we've had on the podcast. So we invited down and we stayed at, what was the hotel called?
Carbis Bay.
Carbis Bay Hotel.
Done a couple of weddings there, love it there.
Very nice.
Yeah, very kindly like put us all up there.
Yeah.
We were the only table because it was like January.
So they basically shut it off and gave us it was Adam Handling's The Ugly Butterfly restaurant.
Yes.
So then he gave us, because I'd been there so much and then the manager there was like, messaged me and was like, I really like the podcast. Maybe we could do something together. So we ended up partnering with Alcohol Change, took 20 people down there. So everyone had kind of knew of each other, but didn't know each other.
Yeah.
And we set the kind of the pod equipment up sort of in one corner. And it was amazing, wasn't it? So every sort of like half an hour in between courses, we'd dip off, interview a guest, and then we could just hear it getting louder. And each time we interviewed, and by the end, we had to just like move the setup next door. Because everyone was doing it. And they served like an amazing non-alcoholic pairing through the entire meal. And they were coming out exactly how they would do, explaining about the food, then talking about the pairing, where it was from. But then it was great. And I think with the red wine they served was probably the best non-alcoholic red I've had. To the point where about 6 or 7 people couldn't drink it because it was so like triggering.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's an amazing idea to do it. And
I've never done a fully non-alcoholic wedding, and I would also love to see it. I think you've got to have the right crowd of people.
Yeah.
I think you've got to have people that are open to fun anyway. Like, do you know what I mean? I think there's definitely some weddings that I go to that probably needed, not even necessarily alcohol, but need entertainment. Like you get quieter couples. We always say like Wednesday wedding couples, as in like people that choose a Wednesday and they don't want to stay up. They finishes at 10 and just very chill. But sometimes you get weddings where you're missing something. It's not, alcohol is the easiest thing to say that you need to add to make it fun. But actually there's 50 other things that you could be adding. There's like even like games and like entertaining people to magicians. Come and do stuff. I friggin' love magicians, like stuff like that just has something for people. I think people need something to talk about. And quite often when you get given a drink in your hand, you're like, oh, this drink, blah, blah, blah. Like just something, bloody mini golf, whatever you want to do, like something to make people talk to each other. But I would like to see your non-alcoholic wedding. I think it's the same. I've done a few vegan weddings and you will have the same thing of people being like, oh, it's fucking vegan, blah, blah, blah. And then they get there and they're like, oh, actually, it's quite a nice show. If I were you, I'd rather you be like, let me show you what non-alcoholic drink is like.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, his mocktails.
It's sad.
It's very lonely here.
It's so interesting, isn't it? Because you're right. I think it does, probably in some weddings, it injects some sort of like energy to it. But I think you're like, you know, in a place now where you've got your crew, you've got your mates, you know who you want to bring in. And
sober guru, you know?
And you wouldn't be bringing anyone that would be like, oh, fuck you, man. I like champagne and gear.
Booing you during the speeches.
But it's interesting, I guess, I don't know whether you felt similar, but being sober, like, I just wouldn't want to see someone at my wedding.
Absolutely
smashed. Not because it would remotely trigger me. They're just annoying.
Yeah.
Like, drunk, let's be non-judgmental, but semi-judgmental. Someone that's that drunk, like crying wedding drunk, is so annoying.
It is annoying.
And if it's your big day, you know, well, not even big day, it's not about you per se, but you want to have a nice time.
Yeah.
You just don't want that energy there, surely.
I think it's the same as when being sober around any drunk people. It's just, I agree, they are so fucking annoying because they go so far. Like, I don't mind people. And again, at weddings, when I'm watching people throughout the day literally descend into chaos, I normally leave at like 9 o'clock before it's all really
like first dance,
literally. I'm like, have fun, don't do anything I wouldn't, see you later. And then I get pictures from the end of the night of just literally disgusting. Or I get venues that message me and be like, oh, just let you know there's like £400 worth of damages that they need to cover because people have got so drunk and do stuff like that. So I get from your point of view of why you wouldn't then want people to be blackout drunk at your wedding.
Yeah.
But I'm very like pro personality for weddings. I think that your wedding should showcase you two as a couple. Like that's my biggest kind of thing. So if you were going to do a wedding, I would expect it to be very non-alcoholic heavy, surely.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
there we go.
You've got lots of sober mates now as well, so it's like
watch this
you're halfway
space.
there.
I'll be like to my mates at a still session, I'll be like, sorry, I do really love you, but
you're not invited.
Not. No dry lining.
No, yeah. Like, yeah, you said no drink, you didn't say no drugs.
Is this true? Is this salt or can I just...
Yeah, I think it is interesting actually. Our experience of the Ugly Butterfly, I think like it would be really interesting being at a sober wedding. You know, and there's probably very few people that could do it. So you are
you are a good...
bastion.
That's what I'm thinking like, got the brand contacts potentially. Obviously, you don't mind paying still, but you can have a few freebies, surely.
100%.
For sure.
Got
Definitely.
the sober mates and some yeah, it's fine. Got
I'd like
the
to
place
see
to
that.
showcase
Would you
it.
still do the evening, as in
Oh yeah,
the
fuck yeah, big party.
music,
DJs.
DJ,
Yeah, DJs,
and
like-
people would they dance? I'm guessing that wasn't the kind of
I
thing
would,
the
and that's
Ugly
all that
Butterfly was.
matters.
It's just
It's
play
been me dancing
Madonna
Madonna.
on repeat. Like I guess that's the bit, and I'm not clued up enough about it because I don't know at weddings who's drinking and who's not unless it's like the groom. Are they the people that are sat on the side just waiting for it to all finish? Are they the people dancing? I guess you don't like. How would you know what kind of entertainment to do if you were doing sober?
It's so true. Because other people aren't as like gung ho as me.
Yeah.
Well, also, I think like for people that do drink, I think it's probably going back to when I first didn't drink. It's quite a new experience, isn't it?
Mm.
And what you were saying about as well, if you're put on a table with people you don't know, and then suddenly you have that kind of blanket taken away, it's like you have to be you.
Yeah.
But I guess this is like, shouldn't we try and normalize that in society?
Normalise what though?
Connection.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Ooh, this is deep. Oh my God.
But do you know what I mean though? Like genuine
Because my job is
connection.
to make sure that the weddings are good. So when I sit and speak to couples, if you sat in front of me and said, I want to do a sober wedding, my initial thing would be like, okay,
Double the
really?
money,
How are we
please.
going to make this fun? Because I think people's immediate thought is, oh, you're so boring. You're so boring that you're not drinking. And I was actually speaking to the friend who is sober, and he was talking about the wedding, and he was saying how ours was one of the first ones he went to when he became sober. And he was saying that like, there's kind of the milestones of everything, maybe in that first year of like first wedding, first funeral, first Christmas, first thing of how to make sure that you can get through all of those. And he had said that like, someone was like, what do you mean you're not drinking at their wedding? Do you not like them enough to just for one day, like make them, and we were like, I don't give a shit if you drink.
Yeah.
Like it's cheaper for me if you don't, I don't care. We'll just get some, like you said, non-alcoholic beers. But I remember thinking very much in my head, like how will he have a good time? What can we do to make sure he has a good time? I think he had a nice time. I don't know. I'll ask him. You can ring him and see if he had fun. But
We'll dial him in at the end of the pod.
Was it a shit wedding?
Surprise.
Yeah.
But we were very conscious again because we got married on New Year's Eve as well. So it's a double whammy of like booze and booze.
Yeah.
And my husband was a bartender. So it was literally the whole theme of the wedding was like cocktails of us being like, oh, okay, how do we make this comfortable for him? And he's a bit like you guys of like, I don't care if everybody else is drinking, but I wanted to make sure that he felt good and comfortable and like he could still be involved in everything without being absolutely smashed off his face.
Yeah. I mean, what it comes down to is we see it in society so much is that whole hand in hand of alcohol and celebration.
Yeah.
And I think this is the first thing that people think of is like on a sort of granular level, it's like, you know, celebrating getting a job or a promotion or, you know, your kid getting into the right school or whatever it might be. There's always been, I mean, I was the same. Always, it would be like, oh, amazing. Let's have a drink.
Yeah.
Finished work. Let's have a drink.
You know, West Ham
5
score a
o'clock.
goal
Yeah.
in the season. Have a drink.
It does. It does feel like you need to make things special. And I actually don't know the answer of what the way to do that is if it's not alcohol. Like I guess food is one for people as well. But then you can argue that some people are like, well, that's really unhealthy as well, going out and having fatty foods and chocolate. And my issue has always been chocolate. I would be the same of like emotional chocolate eating. So now when I said, I'm like, I'm not buying chocolate. So like, we get to the point where you're like, what do we do?
Yeah.
What can we just sit and have a conversation instead? Why don't we go out to a nice, this is to say bar, like a nice restaurant or something like that. But it is so drink heavy. And I don't know what our answer is. Cinema.
Yeah, it is difficult. But I would like to think that like as time goes on and as people get older, I think more and more people will go sober.
Yeah.
And I think more and more people are receptive to or branding themselves or sober curious,
Yeah.
and are mindful of it. And, Sarah's very much similar to you. She doesn't really drink much. It's a handful of times at most a year. And for those people, I think like they like going to a wedding and having a drink or a couple of drinks.
Yeah.
And it's fair enough. But it's like we say on the podcast, not everyone needs to stop drinking.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of people, if they can kind of curb their relationship in a way that enables them to kind of do that and have a relatively, healthy relationship with it, if it's such a word, then, fair enough.
Yeah, this is the thing of trying to help people navigate. Okay, you're getting married, you can still do all this fun stuff, but what key points can we put in that make people feel like they don't have to be getting really drunk? Like, is there ways of getting people to sit? And I guess even things like figuring out who's on what tables is really important. Of like, did you put sober people together to make sure that they could have a conversation without feeling like they need to get smashed?
I think I did actually. I think I put like...
The irony of this, I can't remember.
Can't remember.
I can't really remember.
It's too much fun.
Even being sober, I can't remember shit.
Yeah, I know.
So, but no, I think I did. I think I put a couple of maybe sober people together, and drinkers. I definitely concocted like a really seshy table that I knew would get on.
Every wedding has like a naughty table, which get put nearer the bar. But again, isn't that weird that there's like automatically a naughty table where we're like, right, okay, where shall they sit? And I'm literally helping these people to be like, oh, okay, so we'll take wine from that table and put it on the naughty table.
And that's interesting because, and I'm not saying this in a negative light, but it's almost like, because I've been on that naughty table many a time, it is almost encouraging
100%,
the behaviour, because
100%.
sometimes I've gone to weddings and been on that naughty table. Say you and I back in the day were sat on a table together and be like, oh no. But had I been sat on a table next to like someone's aunt, I would have been like an absolutely lovely, pleasant human being to be around, and probably wouldn't have got that drunk. I might have done it later on, but like, you're right, that sort of wedding breakfast into the evening is when people ramp it. So it's that also thing, you're right, like if you do have that naughty table, like you're just expecting and encouraging
and they
chaos.
know what they're doing by putting a naughty table together, and they want the entertainment of it until it then goes too far, and then they're like, oh, you've ruined our wedding.
My wedding.
Yeah, and it's, how do you work around that with being conscious of people having a nice time? Because you want your wedding to be the best day of your life, but also you want other people to talk about your wedding and be like, that was such a cool wedding. But how do you do that? Make sure that they have fun, make sure that they drank but not alcohol, and make sure they enjoy the evening, but it doesn't necessarily have to be on the dance floor. Do you have to set up other things? Like, you guys had fire pits and stuff outside. That was a nice bit of like, you can go and have one of those deep conversations at a fire pit and make that feel like the bit that you remember from the wedding. Like, what do you remember from his wedding?
I remember the fire pit. I danced.
You can't say fire pit now, I've said it.
I remember dancing. The bar was great though, because I actually tried loads of 0% stuff I'd never tried.
Yeah.
So that was the amazing thing. I think I went and asked for something zero, and they were like, oh, and we've got gin. Oh, and we've got Captain Morgan's. Oh, and we've got that. So that was a really interesting thing. But again, it was like, I think for me, I knew there were people there that didn't drink, but I don't think I spoke to the people. I think I spoke to people that were drinking. But yours was in a really nice environment where even when the music was on, the barn was big enough that you had places that you could sit and chat. Like the bar area didn't overtake. The music didn't kill from the bar, so you could still go. And I chatted to David May for ages about work and life, but we were right next to the dance floor, and you could slip on and have a dance. And then there was enough food. That's another one. I think a lot of weddings are underserved food.
100%. And
then everyone's hammered. Yeah. So yours, like, it was it just felt very well served. But yeah, for me as a sober person, and probably because you are a sober person, it just felt very well catered.
This is the good thing, but also the problem of like, if you're in that world, you know how to make people feel good at it. But if you're not in that world, it's such an afterthought, and it's so obvious as an afterthought. And then that's then uncomfortable on the day. People are like, oh, what options do you have? And they're like, basically saying they did not think about you.
Yeah.
They haven't thought about you at all. There's water.
So if I was coming to you now as a sober person, or maybe not even a sober person, as someone who was having sober people at my wedding,
Yeah.
what would be your new sort of like, I guess, steps that you'd put in place or encourage people to do?
I think it's considerate of those points again and changing up the drinks, like even to make like a mocktail. But again, it is a lot of times the venues are so hard to like push through to be like, we'd like to serve a cocktail. It's basically what you're going to serve anyway without the alcohol in it. They're like, oh, we don't do mocktail. Like stuff like that is, I would push harder on things like that of whenever there's points for other guests that you would have the same experience but with a non-alcoholic drink.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why can't you have a mocktail in cocktail hour? But it should feel fancy and it should be in a proper glass and it shouldn't just be like, honestly, squash. Like, as an adult, I actually love squash, but I don't think you should be drinking squash at a wedding. I think there should be...
So where's the party rings?
Literally.
And the jelly toss?
I think there should be no Secco and it should be served in a proper glass. I think it should be obvious and served in the same way so that people don't feel like they have to be like, oh... let me go over to the corner where there's a little non-alcoholic section where I have to kind of like shamefully get a drink. I think it should be a lot more easier to get. I think, like you said, things of having stuff on the tables. Venues are very good at seeing who's vegetarian, who's got dietary. If somebody's got a nut allergy, they will be red flagged across everything and they'll be served so differently. So why that can't be done with alcohol, I've got no idea, but I think we should be pushing for that. And just mixing up the drinks. I think that I would want people to have a pre-ceremony drink that's different to the post-ceremony drink, that's different to what's on the table, that's different to the toast drink, that's different to the cocktail hour. Like, I don't think that's hard to do if you care about the people that are not drinking.
It's so true. And also, you can have simple drinks that are just like zhuzhed up a bit. So I went to a wedding the other week and they had no Secco. And then they just had like, it was literally just like cranberry juice, but with like some fresh ice, some lemon and some mint in it.
Yeah.
And it just was like, oh.
Like an adult drink.
Yeah, like an adult drink. Yeah. And I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, it was nice. I had a few of them and I felt like I was joining in with everyone, like having the cocktails that were free.
Because I guess you don't want to feel different. I think that's the part of it, of like not having to feel like,
especially
I
early
don't
on.
drink. So,
especially early on. Like that first wedding I went to, I can't remember where it was, but it was early and it was one of my dear friends. Oh yeah, and I was the MC 2 weeks into my sobriety. And it was really scary.
I bet.
And like, I don't expect, again, their wedding was well planned and my decision to go sober was quite stark. So they didn't have to.
Yeah, I feel like you've got to give them a month's notice of that.
But it's really interesting because you're sort of like, you're then looking at the favours and it would have been so easy for me at that point, if you're new into your journey, to be like, well, I'll have a sip of champagne with a toast because no one will really know. Or I'll just have the favour because no one will really notice. And that can also be a really negative thing because that could start you back on a bad spiral, right? So just those little things, I think.
I bet weddings are a massive bit where people go back.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to just, like you said, you're literally handed a champagne.
Yeah.
And you're like, why wouldn't you?
I think this is why we just want, anyone listening to the podcast that still drinks. I think it's just coming down to evaluate your relationship with drink, because I do get it. I mean, I went to so many weddings with Sarah when I was still drinking, and for a wedding is a time where you get a break from kids if you've got kids. You might be taking a couple of days off work or whatever it is, and you're going and staying somewhere relatively nice and you're getting fed.
There's live music and there's entertainment.
So you're essentially getting like a nice little like weekend break from life sometimes. And I think like most people are guilty of this when they go on holiday, if they go away for the weekend or going to London or go and see something. I think most people would drink in that situation. And, now having, 3.5 years in, I just think I love going to these things now, being sober, being able to get up in the morning, go for a run, go and play golf, whatever it is, like, and having that time back where I'm not feeling like dog shit.
Yeah.
And, I can remember everything from the night. I haven't fallen out with anyone. I haven't caused any like mayhem.
No, Joy, you haven't ruined a wedding.
Haven't like pissed Sarah off. Haven't done anything that I know I would have done. And I think it's just a chance to like, if that's the routine that you're like so used to doing, like, as you get older, maybe that will change,
Can I ask, did you have more fun at weddings when you were drinking or when you're not drinking? Is it purely the after effects of it, as in the waking up and not feeling shit and all of that, or do you genuinely enjoy the wedding day as much as you did when you were drinking?
So
I'm now interviewing you on your own podcast.
No. I think it's a good question. I think it depends on
whose wedding?
I think it comes down to that, to be honest, because I think you're right. I think there is still an argument that if you go to if I was going to one of Sarah's friends' wedding, for example, where I might know a handful of people as opposed to a lot of people, then it definitely takes me a little while to like warm up and like get into it, which again is fine. That's just part of it. But then I think if it's a wedding, like I've got the mate whose stag do I'm going on tomorrow in like a month's time, that'll be great.
Yeah, before you even go, you'll be fine.
Yeah, and I know that I'll have like as much fun, if not more fun, from doing that. And yeah, sure, like sometimes I still think that kind of 2-hour gap in the middle is just boredom is why people drink. I'm sure of it. It's just like, what the fuck else are we going to do when the entire family
what do you want to do instead?
Photoed?
Because would you, like, I would argue if you were doing no alcohol at your wedding, do you do a later ceremony, which means you cut down that drink reception?
Ceremony, 6 p.m. dinner, 8:30, 9 p.m. party, 12 p.m. carriages. See you later.
Yeah. For someone that's not planning a wedding, you've thought about this a lot.
Yeah, I like it. I've actually done a couple of destination weddings recently, and there's nothing I find like. Me and my partner have a rule actually, which is like unless we both know the bride or the groom, or we know like a group of people there, we'll go on our own because neither of us want to be in that environment. So if it's a really good friend of mine that she's maybe only met once in passing, I'm not going to subject her to like a day of strangers and having to have all that small talk and vice versa for me. And that's been a really interesting thing. It's not that we like don't support each other, but it's like, it's more the kind of protection of like neither of us drink. These people might be getting bang on it or like that. And knowing that there might be a bit of like, you're not going to enjoy this and just having those boundaries.
Would you feel bad if people, so I do a podcast purely wedding related and we get a lot of people that message in that are like, oh, we've invited people and they've declined our invitation. It's really rude. It's really upset us, blah, 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 blah. Like, is that a thing? Would you ever say?
Nah, we for people that aren't engaged, we've talked about this at depth. For me, it's just like, we're doing this on this day. It's really special to us. If you can make it, great. If you can't, absolutely zero stress. And I'm not going to invite someone just because they've invited me to theirs.
It's interesting. I would like to ask you this again when you are in the
I'm sure it's going to be hell. Yeah. But I've been thinking about it actually because of me not drinking anymore.
Yeah.
So my relationship with a lot of people has changed drastically.
Have you lost friends?
100%.
Yeah.
So 5 years ago, if you'd asked me that question, I would have said there'll be 500 people at my wedding.
Yeah.
Now I probably want, on my side, 35 to 40.
Yeah.
Not because I don't like the other people, because like...
You don't want to spend the day with them.
What is a friend? Like, and we talk about this a lot, like the depth, so much of my friendship, and I think it's similar maybe with weddings and connections, based around getting fucked up, sitting around a kitchen table, doing gear, chatting shit.
Expectations of people, how you want them to react. My kind of tip for everyone getting married is to lower your expectations of people because they're not going to live up to they're not going to RSVP on time. They're not going to give you a gift on the day.
Leave your bloody kids at home.
They literally kick off that, what do you mean our 3-year-old twins aren't invited to the wedding? And it's like so many arguments come up from that. We're getting married. You should be really happy for us. Here's all the stuff we would like to do. And everyone suddenly has an opinion on it. I feel like it's exactly the same as suddenly being like, I don't drink anymore. And everyone suddenly got opinions on it. Yeah, you're boring.
I think but I think what it highlights is like surface level friendships, which, do you know what is weird to say is I think I'm actually probably a lot more ruthless now I've stopped drinking.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you're the same. Like, and I think actually it comes from, maybe ruthless is the wrong word, but like,
go with it.
I'm so much more like comfortable in my own skin and decisions and who I want to spend my time with.
If they're not bringing you joy.
And who I don't. And I'm like, do you know what? I think even now being this far on into drinking, because when I got married, I think it was coming up to, I think I was probably a year and a half in.
I was going to say, were you sober when you got engaged?
No.
He was hammered.
Yeah. I
was so high, I don't remember any of it.
I'd had a few drinks when I popped the question for sure. But,
so when you started planning a wedding, were you planning it, not planning it drunk, were you planning it as in you would have been drinking at a wedding and then in the engagement period you then stopped drinking?
No, because I think we only really started doing it, I think we started properly getting into it when I stopped drinking, because I think it was something to kind of like throw like attention and stuff into at the time. And everything was so mental, like work and music wise, on the run up to me going sober. I don't think there was any time. But I think I actually like made space in my head to then actually be able to help Sarah and go, cool, this is like what we're going to do. Let's put a date in. But I was also new to it, that the first like year of sobriety is a bit of like a hurricane. and you're just kind of rolling with it. And a lot of those firsts that you were talking about earlier, like first weddings and first funerals and all that kind of stuff, are like, it's kind of like, let's get through it, rather than thinking, oh,
how can I enjoy it? It's just get to the end of the day.
It's just like, see how it is. Like, you don't have any expectation of what it is. It's like, let's get through it. Whereas now, having like knowing what I enjoy and the rest of it all, I think if me and Sarah, if the wedding was to be like this December, or we were planning it now for like next December, it would look very, very different. 100%. I think there'd be, like Jamie said, probably less people there. All my like core mates, like nothing's changed in that respect.
Yeah.
Like, I had a lot of groomsmen. I had like 12 groomsmen.
You did, yeah.
Like, and they're still like all my guys. And
yeah.
That hasn't really changed. But I think like it would just be different. And I think if I really pushed to have it my way now for like next time, I'd just be like, let's go abroad. Like,
really?
Yeah, 100%. I'd be like, let's just keep it small and do something that's just super small.
Weans out the clingers on.
I think so, a little bit. And it's like, I'd probably like to do something a little bit more food orientated now, because I've really got into like fine dining and all that stuff. And I'd rather have a smaller crew, really focus in on
Michelin star marriage.
Exactly.
So trademark that one.
Okay.
But yeah, so I get that, like, why you're, because you're 100%. If we were talking about this and it was a few years ago, it would have been 500.
My 30th birthday was 500 people and Mike Skinner DJing. So I was an egotistical wanker. Now I would have.
Well, it's interesting to, like, judgmental is the wrong word, but like I am very judgmental of people's weddings. As in, when I start talking to a couple, I talk to them about what they do, how they met, all of that, so I can start to kind of understand them. And then I'll say, what's your wedding like? And then they'll start saying all this stuff that's like, that doesn't go together. You're either trying to be something you're not, or you just are trying to show off to people. It's the couples that are like, this is what we're doing, and then this is our wedding. And I'm like, bang on, that should be exactly like it should be, such a representation of you guys as a couple. But it just gets so carried away. You get so carried away by social media of celebrities getting married and stuff like that then the wedding just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and more stressful, and you get people's opinions, you get parents. I think parents don't understand weddings. I think what they were doing when they got married is totally different to what's happening now. So I think it's the expectations of people that just makes everyone just get.
I think that's what it is when you're, a lot of the time when you're planning a wedding, you're thinking of others rather than really thinking about yourselves. And like I said to Sarah, I'd actually really like to do it all again. And I think we'll do like renew our vows. So I said, maybe let's do it at 5 years, because my brother-in-law had passed away like really close to our wedding. And I think like my anxiety was at like a terrible state.
Yeah.
And, I probably didn't enjoy it as much as I would have, but it was too late to like move the wedding. And, it was that close to it. So I said to Sarah, I was like, it'd be nice to do it again, where, you're 5 years in and we can do a little different take on it. So
and
I think
the problem is yourselves more every year, and people change quite a lot every year. And like, especially for you guys, like it's quite big, drastic changes that happen that like, even I look back at my wedding and I'm like, I would change so many things about it. And I was a wedding planner at that point, so I should have known what I was doing. But like I've been married 3 years, maybe. Just in that amount of time, I'm like, shit, I would do my wedding so different. Yeah. So you kind of have to just do it. You
roll with the punches and just go, that's what it was at that point in time, and it was great. And I loved the day, and I think everything went pretty smoothly. And
thank you.
Well done. And everyone had a great time. So I think if we were to do it again, it would look a bit different. And if you were to do yours, I'm sure it will be.
Who knows what will happen?
Who knows what will happen?
Listen, it could be a world first. I'll be on the front of Hello Magazine.
I would like to come to. I'll come and do it.
Free,
as long as I can make content. I'll do it for free if I can make content on it. But then be like,
there you go.
But to watch and be like, there's nobody on the dance floor. He lied. He said that he would dance to Madonna.
I've got some ideas. Don't you worry. It'll come into fruition.
Well, this will be interesting to play out. I think that was a verbal agreement.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
On there.
Love it.
We normally ask 3 questions at the end, but because of this,
because
I'm an
haunted alcoholic.
we just thought it would be fun to do a quick, fun, rapid-fire round of a few questions.
Hit me.
So, what's the most unexpected request you've ever had from a couple?
They put time into their wedding to consummate.
Wow.
Okay, interesting.
So in my timings, I had to write it a bit weird as well because I always bring a day
501 upstairs, 502.
3 back downstairs.
Okay, that's interesting. I know the answer to this one because we talked about it. Champagne toast or sparkling water toast?
The problem is I do really like cocktails in terms of like the entertainment factor of them and the kind of history of cocktail. Like I like that part of it. But yeah, I'm just, champagne for the people that are drinking, sparkling water for the people that don't want to drink.
Yeah.
But you do you.
What's it called? French Bloom.
French Bloom. Oh,
If you haven't had it, it's amazing.
I haven't.
Unbelievable.
It's made by Maggie Tattinger.
See, I'm not clued up enough on non-alcoholic drinks. So maybe that's my homework to just be like, because, maybe try it all.
French Bloom is great, and it's obviously comes from Tattinger.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's good. Outdoor or indoor wedding?
Which bit specifically? I'll ask myself the question. Outdoor or indoor ceremony?
Yep.
Indoor.
Okay.
There's too many factors outside. There's planes, wind, stuff, dogs, birds, inside.
Okay. What's your favourite first dance song you've heard?
I picked my own first dance song, obviously,
Perfect.
which is
what?
Mumford & Sons' There Will Be Time.
Nice.
Thank you. There's a drop, so then that's when everyone joins.
Yeah,
And my
there
husband's
is.
South African. It's from their South African tour. See, as long as it's got meaning, I'm happy with any first dance.
Yes.
Can't just pick a shit song for
Yeah,
the sake of...
I'm with you.
What was your first dance?
We did Tom Walker.
You did.
Yeah, he was gonna come and do it.
He was Manu. I was really excited for that. What happened there?
Yeah, he sent me he called me and was like so apologetic. But he said when I did it, he was like, listen, I mean, I think he got offered like it was like a private thing that was, I was like, mate, can't deny you that.
spent all your money on the 0% booze.
I did. I spent it all.
Well, it's fucking
I couldn't match it.
I would have not had his song as my first dance then, just to spite him. Be like, just to let you know, I've changed my first dance.
So we've now got Tom Brennan. He's turning. Most underrated wedding tradition.
I do like father-daughter stuff. I know not everybody has dads that they're close with, but I do, for someone who's pretty feminist, I do like the whole father walking daughter down the aisle. First looks. I do like a first look. That's my option that I'll go for. Nice. I think that's a nice moment.
Most overrated wedding tradition.
Oh, garter toss.
What's a garter toss?
The garter is the
but I
thing.
know someone tossed it.
So the way you say that is dirty.
Such venom.
So some wedding, the tradition is that the groom will take it off the bride with his teeth.
Oh no.
But I mean, it's gross in itself, but the tradition of where that came from is that the groom used to take it to the family of the bride to say, look, I've slept with your daughter.
Right. That's
so then that
almost
makes
like
me
mocking the family.
Literally, la la la.
Okay.
Oh, that's fun.
What's one mocktail or sober drink idea you love for a wedding?
I like when people make their own drinks at weddings. So we did a cocktail make again because my husband was a cocktail bartender. We got everyone to make their own cocktail. We did a non-alcoholic option for our friends who didn't drink. I know. And it was the theatre of doing it was the fun part. So it was like a sugar cube. It was then non-alcoholic champagne. I can't remember what we used for bitters, something like that. But anything where people are making it, and like you said, anything with a bit of garnish or a bit of something. It doesn't just have to be a cranberry juice. Honestly, it doesn't even really matter what it tastes like. Because you'll be like, oh, great.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. Biggest oops you've seen at a wedding that turned into a funny story?
There was a cheesecake, and it was like back in the day when cheesecakes weren't really a thing, as in cheese cake.
Yeah.
And the top tier was like a red heart wax thing, and one of the kids just took a massive bite out of it but put it back, and it was like the most perfect bite mark you've ever seen from a cheese. Literally looked like that, and I was like, we'll leave that. That looks great.
Perfect. If you could plan a wedding for any celebrity, who would it be?
Well, Taylor Swift's just got engaged.
Oh,
I'll take that one, although
She'll
I think it
get
would
divorced.
scare me. Do you reckon?
I'm not a fan.
So
I don't want to get into this.
I'm not a Swiftie. I'm not, but my daughter is, and she wanted to go to Taylor's the concert, and I managed to get tickets quite last minute. And I was like, "We'll go." Like, I don't find her offensive. And then I went there, and I was like, "Fuck me, this woman is a machine."
Oh, she's a powerhouse.
But again, I reckon they'll do something really small because people expect such big luxury stuff. I reckon they'll do something tiny that then is very them. Again, I say this like I'm a massive fan of Taylor Swift. It makes me sound like a right nerd. I just think it'll be very intimate.
My mate just sung at Jeff Bezos' wedding.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Was it wild?
Oh, yeah, apparently it was insane because the so it was Kygo, who's like DJ, got paid to perform there. But then I can't remember his wife's name, but her favourite song and the first dance song was a song that my mate had done with Kygo and he'd sung on. He's not even an artist.
Wow.
But they were like, will you come and sing at the wedding? He was like, nah. And they just kept upping the
happened to
dollar.
my
And Freddie was like,
band.
all right, I'll do it.
Yeah.
You know, The Dangerous Summer?
Yeah.
It's like this really like rock band from America. I think it's the guy that does his Pretty Little Thing. His wife loves this one song. So their wedding was like Mariah Carey, Boys to Men, Ronan Keating, and then this scraggly drunk rock band from Nashville at their wedding. And the singer was just like, he was like, man, it was crazy. He's like, I was on the table with some boxer and I didn't know what to say to him. So I just got drunk and I was like, hey man, what's it like to be a victor? And he was like, fuck off.
I can't imagine what these massive, I mean, I'm involved in weddings every day and I can't imagine what that wedding would have been like. I don't know if I'd want to, I wonder what the couple actually, if they enjoy it or if it is literally just a photo shoot.
Pressure, so much pressure.
Yeah. Not for me. I don't market myself as luxury weddings. I like good proper
The real
weddings.
ones.
The proper weddings.
Proper weddings.
Yeah, nice.
Sorry, Tom, your wedding wasn't luxury, mate.
Oh, that's so good, mate.
Yeah, sorry. Did you spend 20 million?
No.
No, then you.
No. It
right
felt
yet.
like I did.
Yeah.
Final question. 3 words to describe your dream wedding vibe.
Personal. Again, I like people to sit down and be like, oh, this is very them. I don't want everyone to feel like that should be their wedding. Easy.
Mm-hmm.
As in, I want people to be able to chat and do what they want to do. And I hate this word, but just vibe. You can't, I can help people plan weddings and we can do all of this stuff. But if you, as a couple, aren't a vibe, it sets the tone for the whole day. Yeah. You've got to enjoy yourselves for everybody else to enjoy themselves. Yeah. And if you've not done a wedding that you would like, then you're not going to enjoy yourself and therefore nobody is. Yeah. So then it goes back to the thing of just do it how you want to do it. And if people don't want to come, they fuck them. Yeah.
Nice.
Well, thanks so much.
That was really fun chat.
Yeah, it was great. Thanks so much for joining us.
No, thank you for, I feel more educated. I'm going to go and spread the word of how to actually look after people that don't want to drink at a wedding, not make them feel like a child.
Yeah. We'll send you our best like non-alcohol recommendations.
I want them.
So you can do, there's like some really, it's taken a while, but there's some actually good wines now. There never used to be. The beers have been spot on for a while, I think. And French Bloom is like the new discovery that, you know, as far as champagne goes, they even do a premium one for those wankers that want to really show off for the money. About
premium non-alcoholic
110
champagne.
quid a bottle, yeah.
Shut the front door. What's in it to make it?
Don't know.
Have they just left it in the thing as long as?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I feel like a collaboration is in.
Yeah, but we'll see.
In the works.
But yeah, thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me.